Hello, this is Dennis with A1 Telephone Service and Repair, A1 Electronics. You can reach us on the web at www.a1-telephone.com, and you can also reach us at 618-235-6959. Today I want to show you a really cool red Western Electric telephone. This is a 2500 set, and this is Tim's phone from Indiana. And Tim had called earlier about this telephone and then sent it in. And he's basically got a note here talking about that he couldn't get the keypad to work. And I want to kind of go through the note a little bit. He wants the telephone repaired, and he can answer calls, but the touch tone pad does not work. Just some different things in his note. And basically, this is the initial checkout of this telephone, and I have the body loose, and we're going to do some initial checks on this telephone. I want to show you some things that at the beginning, because I had just gotten into this telephone, started checking it out. And no, there is no dial. You can't dial out or anything like that. And all these wires that I have cleaned up here came off the line modular plug. We don't need any of that. This is a single line phone, and that's all it's ever going to be. And when you get into these situations where you have to troubleshoot the telephone a little bit, it has a kind of a smaller, newer style network in this telephone, but basically this telephone's been worked on. And so anyway, you kind of have to troubleshoot these out because you never know who's worked on these telephones, and you have no clue what they've done to them. And so basically what we want to do is we want to start out brand new. And so I'm going to take all these pieces or get this modular plug out of the way. And basically we're down to tip and ring, and that's all we really need for this telephone is tip and ring. All this other mess over here is just a confusing, for somebody that doesn't work on phones every day, this is just a bunch of confusion here. So we're going to get rid of all that. That doesn't need to be, and so we cleaned up this modular plug. This modular plug has a few issues. It's a little brittle, but most of them are. It's still a working plug, and we're probably just going to use it up until the time that it breaks somewhere down in the future, if it ever does break, because these are getting hard to find, and they're getting a little pricey. So this one's still usable, and as long as it's usable, we're going to go ahead and use it. It's not an issue where we're going to try to make this telephone something that's a showroom floor telephone. So basically, let's use this modular plug up into the time that it actually is no longer able to be used, or it cracks or something, because these are all getting to the age where they are getting brittle and they crack and then they go bad. Or people pull on the line cord too hard and it ends up breaking them. So the best thing to do is use this until it goes bad and then replace it, because it's still usable. So let's get that out of the way. Now, when I started looking at this network here, it did not look to me to be wired right. So I'm in the process of troubleshooting it, and this is the initial checkout. There was several different ways to wire these, okay? And people call me all the time, do you have a schematic? Do you know of a schematic? Do you know the wiring? Well, the answer is always the same. I don't try to tell anyone how to wire their phone over the telephone or anything like that, or through emails or anything like that, because there were several different ways to wire networks, and through the years they made different changes. Yes, it's all kind of the same thing going on here, but depending on how they had the hook switch, and there's just a lot to it. So I don't rely on schematics. I don't bother with them. They're a waste of my time. And you can spend a lot of time trying to search down a schematic and then find out, well, my telephone's not wired like that anyway. That's not the way it should be, or mine's a little different, or I wired it that way and it didn't work. So just looking around for a schematic is just kind of useless, and I've been doing this long enough to where I can, I just troubleshoot everything back and look everything over and wire it the proper way. He had keypad issues where he could not dial out. And I don't believe that this keypad is bad at this point. I will know a little more when I get further into the phone, and this is just the initial checkout. But I want to show you something. This wire right here was tucked up into the crack of this network, and it's just tucked here. I can assure you that the red and green wire needs to be it has to be connected, okay? So that's going to be one problem right there. Now, whether the keypad is bad or not, I don't know until I get further down the line. But I can tell you this wire right here is an important wire that runs over to the keypad. That's a fact. And so it's not connected. The other thing that I see on this keypad, it is not bridge rectifier protected, okay? So there needs to be some type of bridge rectification. And the other issue with this telephone is Tim has a modem. And so high-speed internet telephone lines that work off modems sometimes cannot support these networks in these older style Western Electric telephones and some of the other ones. They just pull too much out and it won't support them no matter what you do. And in that case, what we do is get an electronic keypad and we wire a keypad to another board, a newer style type board, and change the mic and receiver in the handset, okay? And then that kind of takes you into the future with all these new style phone lines and things like that. So not only do we have the obstacle of going through this network and making sure everything's right and everything's good with a network, because a bad network can cause it not to dial out. And then we have to go, we want to get it wired first. Then we want to go into this keypad and make sure everything is wired to the network properly and that the keypad is good. And then even after you get it working in a situation where the phone line at my shop supports these older networks and my analyzer here also supports that, then you have the obstacle of putting the phone into service where it's going to be at the customer's house and determining if their modem, their high-speed telephone line modem, is going to support this telephone network and telephone. So, there's a few obstacles here. Let's get the telephone working properly. Let's get a bridge rectifier in it so it's protected. And then, after all that, we'll do our checks. We'll make sure that the telephone's in working condition. And then we get it back to the customer, and hopefully everything will be supported at his location with these newer style modem high-speed internet telephone lines. And I have seen some modems and high-speed internet lines support even rotary. So, there's some out there that will, there's some out there that won't. And like I said, we work on telephones from around the world and around the United States. So, you just never know. There's so many different locations with these high-speed internet lines now and different phone companies. And some of these phone companies are trying to cut back their supply voltage that they're sending out to their customers. So it's one of those things that just has to be tested at the premises. So we'll just go from there, and we'll get everything straightened out, and we're just going to try to clean everything up here. And I don't mean like as in clean up cosmetically. I mean clean up the mess that has been generated by, you just never know who's worked on these, what's happened in the past, and there's no real history with it. Sometimes you open these phones up and you know, things just don't look right to you, and you wish the last guy that worked on it, you know, maybe had a little piece of paper stuffed in here and said, I did this, 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 and this, and I put this, you know, be like a road map. But they don't do that. So now it comes time to get into the telephone and straighten out everything that was improperly wired. And so everything looks original to the telephone, basically. But we don't know, you know, what happened if someone was looking for a problem. And several people could have worked on this telephone. So it's a decent telephone. It's a Western Electric, and that's what's cool about it. And it's red, and it's factory red. You know, sometimes we get these phones in and we take the cover off and we find out that, you know, they were a factory refurbished model, and you know, the color is different, like they repainted it. But this one is originally red, which is cool, because you don't see a whole lot of red telephones. There is a few out there, and they still can be found. But for the most part, you know, red was one of the cooler colors, and they, you know, you just don't see them everywhere. So that's really cool. And I think Batman got a hold of most of them, and they used them up. I'm not sure if Robin took them out and gave them away to his family members or what, but it's just one of those things. It's the red phone, and they're really cool, and it's nice to see these. So that kind of gives you a look at it. And we're going to get this one squared up and repaired for Tim, but this is the initial checkout of this telephone. This is Dennis with A1 Telephone Service and Repair, A1 Electronics. You can reach us on the web at www.a1-telephone.com, and you can also reach us at 618-235-6959. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.